Today is going to be a fun day because I've got something I've been considering sharing with you guys for a while, but I've held off until now. The reason is this is a great strategy to grow a new Amazon FBA business that very few people are doing, and that's the exact reason I've hesitated to share it. But the truth is that even though this is a great strategy to find free books to sell Amazon FBA, very few of you watching this video will actually take the time to put it into practice. That's just the way it is. Very few people are actually willing to put in the work, even if that work is not that hard. So this video is dedicated to those of you that will actually put in the work and make this method work for you. What's going on? My name is Matthew Osborne, and the content of this video you are watching right now have only been shared once in a private mastermind event with a small group of Amazon sellers earlier this year. Today I'm going to show you how to get free books consistently on autopilot with almost no competition. If this sounds interesting to you, you're on the right place, so be sure to click that subscribe button below to be notified when future videos just like this go live. Now pause the video, grab a sheet of paper to take some notes, and then let's begin. Alright, so I've entitled this Why You Need a Business Website. And before you just click off of this is not your standard, hey, build a website, use this template type thing, and it'll be perfect for you. I'm going to show you the ins and outs of why a business website like this can help you actually get leads and how to set up the website so it does just that. Your average website you set up is not going to do this. I'm going to show you exactly the principles you need to apply to actually get leads and get free books from a simple business website. All right, so this is from, again, like I said, a presentation I gave to a small group of entrepreneurs that I'm just now releasing to you guys. So let's dive in a little bit. So this is the view of Denver, Colorado. This is where we are. Now, and this is where actually ScoutIQ was based up until a couple months ago, I should say. Caleb's off in Indiana now near family, and I'm traveling the country with my family right now until we move to Arizona in just a little bit. But this is Denver where I lived when I made this presentation. So I want you to look at this big city. You can see a ton of skyscrapers and stuff like that. But I want you to try and think of how many books exist in a city like this. Okay, this is just a downtown area, but I think Denver has roughly 2, maybe 3 million people in the metropolitan area. Say 3 million people. Think of all the different thrift stores. I know when we looked when we were in Denver, there was 100+ thrift stores in just the Denver area. Think of all the libraries, think of all the books being donated, all the books on people's shelves. There's tons of books trading hands all the time. Now, right now, what you're likely doing is going to libraries and thrift stores and scanning books that other people probably already scanned, and you're going to find fewer books. But what if you could get those same books before they even hit the shelves of the library or hit the shelves at the thrift store, and you had the first pick of them? That is the power of getting free leads for book donations rather than just going to a thrift store and doing cherry picking like so many people do. Okay, so libraries, thrift stores, garage sales, books thrown away, moving, recycled books, sold books, all these different things happen in every single city, and is at a much bigger scale than you'd imagine it would be. Okay, so in this little time we have together, I'm going to show you again how to get free inventory consistently on autopilot with nearly no competition. Okay, the promise, I'm going to show you how to apply SEO, okay, search engine optimization, marketing, and then a few different advanced strategies to build a website that can bring you inventory on autopilot. So stick with me if that's something that you want to do in your business. Okay, one of the big objections that I hear with this, or that I can imagine you would have with this method, is that if what I'm saying is actually true and it works, why is everyone not already doing this? And the truth is, everyone is already doing this. They're just not doing it for book donations. The principles I'm going to show you are the same ones people apply to marketing businesses all the time. It's the way we get customers for ScoutIQ. When I used to be a marketing manager at another business, this is how I got customers for that business. Everyone that does online sales applies these similar principles, but they normally don't do it to try and get book donations. Almost no one is doing that. And so I'll show you how to use tried and true methods that I use all the time, apply it to the book genre, and actually get donations for free books using these strategies. So the strategies themselves work, they're being used, they're just not being used in the book space very frequently, and that's where the opportunity for you is actually presented. Okay, so breaking it down, there's gonna be 3 sections I'm gonna share with you. Number 1, why you need a website yesterday. This is gonna be the basics of SEO. I'm trying to make this interesting so it's not just a bunch of SEO stuff that can get boring. I promise it'll be relevant to you and your business. Number 2, how to build a website, handing you the keys to the city, as I'll show you. And then number 3 is some advanced strategies to put this method on steroids. Let's jump into number 1 and start 10xing your business there, as Grant Cardone would say. So part 1, the basics of SEO. Okay, so search engine optimization, I should say, SEO, search engine optimization is what it stands for, is the way Google decides what websites to serve you when you search something on Google, okay? I go to Google and I type in where to buy a grill. Google's gonna take those words, look at all the websites that exist on the internet and say, hey, here are the top 3 websites, or really a page of websites, but we really only look at the top 3 options normally, that best fit where you can buy a grill given your specific area and everything else that comes into play, okay? So the way Google does this is based on 4 different pillars we have right here. So we have time, we have content, we have authority, and we have structure, okay? I'm gonna break down each of these really simply. Time is a really big indicator a lot of people forget about. Google wants to know you are committed to what you're doing. If you have a website that's very similar to another website, okay, let's say you have 2 websites that are almost identical in every single way, except one website was launched 2 months ago and one website has been live for 10 years. Google is going to place the emphasis on the website that's been there 10 years because it stood the test of time. They know these people are committed, and it's less likely to be a scam if it's been sitting there for 10 years rather than something that was just launched that's not proven yet. So time is a big factor, not the only factor, but a big factor taken into account by Google on what websites to deliver when a search is made, okay? Content is the other huge pillar right here because Google has no way of knowing what your website's about unless it's actually written in the content. So if I write all this stuff about books, but I never mention book donations in my website, and then someone searches for book donations, it doesn't matter how much book content I have, Google is going to say, hey, this website's not a good fit. Let's give the customer something else instead. So content and what you write about is extremely important and be able to show up in search results on Google or Bing or any other search engine you might use. Authority is the 3rd pillar. We're not going to dive into this one too much, but authority basically is what other websites are linking back to you. Okay, if I start a website about let's say how to sell on Amazon, for instance, and I just launch it, I put a lot of great content on there, maybe even I let it sit for a while and it's had some time to mature, but the website stands alone and nothing else is linking to it. Google's going to say, hey, if this is really an authoritative website, other websites would be linking to this. So what authority would do is, let's say Amazon, I know it's unlikely, but let's say Amazon.com made a backlink and said, hey guys, here's how to sell on Amazon, go to this website. Suddenly Google's going to see, hey, Amazon, an extremely well-respected website that we trust, is linking to this website. We're going to infer a lot of that trust over to this new website, and then it's going to boost you significantly in the search rankings. So if I had a website and for some reason Amazon decided to link to it, it would instantly boost me in all the search rankings because Google says, hey, that website has authority now. We know it's more trustworthy. We're going to boost it up in the rankings. All right, and then structure, the 4th pillar people often forget about, is the way in which the content is actually structured on the page. Google is a very specific way they read pages, and if you don't have your heading tags right, if you don't have your paragraph tags right, if you don't have the main site structure and sitemap of your plan set up correctly, it can really impact your results. And that's why a lot of people write great content on great blogs, but it's not picked up near as well as it should be because they lack the actual structure needed for Google to read it properly. Okay, so those are the 4 kind of pillars we're going to be messing with for this website to try and get you free inventory sent straight to you. Let's go over something called keywords. So keywords, like I said, are things you include in your website in different ways, shape, and forms. So Google knows what to deliver when someone searches something. So if I search book donations, and I have book donations all over my website, Google knows it's going to be a closer fit than something talking about a Peloton bike, right? They're using these keywords that people are searching to deliver websites. Okay, so there's 3 different types of keywords. Most people only tell you about 2. I'm going to tell you about a 3rd one here. Short tail keywords are high traffic and harder to rank. Okay, they're not actually normally short. They can be short. It could be just like someone searching for shoes, that would be a short tail keyword. If someone searches for shoes, there's going to be tons of results, tons of websites that mention shoes, and it's going to be extremely hard to rank for something like that because you're going to be competing against Amazon and Walmart and all these other retailers that have much bigger websites than you do. So that's a short tail keyword. It's going to be high traffic and hard to rank for. The other thing we have here is long tail keywords, okay? These are low traffic and they're easier to rank for. So a low tail keyword, well, let's say, so a high tail, short tail keyword might be something like shoes. A long tail keyword, however, might be something like white Nikes made in 2005, something like that, something longer and more detailed. And then if Walmart has Nike shoes, but I have a website that's all about Nike shoes made in 2005, and that's repeated all the time on the website, Google's going to say, hey, Walmart's reputable, but this website's talking about this exact keyword, and very few people talk about the exact keyword, Nike shoes made in 2005, therefore this website's going to be better to deliver up to this customer. So long tail keywords is what we're really going to be focusing on because they're low traffic, they're easier to rank for, but you can still get very good results from them. And then at the bottom here, you can see hidden there at the bottom, it says no tail, and we'll go into what no tail is. No tail basically is a keyword that is maybe short or long, but no one is actually searching for it, so it's useless in every way, shape, and form. So let's do a little pop quiz. I'm going to give you a keyword, and based on what I just said, I want you to try and tell me if it's a short tail keyword, a long tail keyword, or a no tail keyword, all right? So the very first one right here, we have Gazelle's Book Barn. All right, is this a short tail, a long tail, or a no tail keyword? We've got Gazelle's Book Barn, right? So this is a no tail keyword, right? Let's say I start a book website and I say I want to brand it. I'm going to make these cool business cards. Gazelle's Book Barn is going to show like a gazelle jumping over a barn reading a book or something like that. It looks pretty. I've made the website all up. I'm super excited about my new brand, but I later on figure out that no one's coming to my website, and I try and look at some tools to figure out why, and we see here that Gazelle's Book Barn has no one searching for it, and it's actually difficult to rank for even though no one's searching for it, because the things that do come up, Clovis Book Barn has been there for a long time. He has some domain authority, so he's going to show up above you because he has a reputable website, and then you're competing against Amazon even because there's a book called Lucky Gazelle, something, probably Lucky Gazelle book it looks like. And Amazon.com is also going to be competing with you. So not only is no one searching for it, but even if you went this route and tried to get ranked for a keyword no one was searching for, you still probably wouldn't even be on the front page because of the other websites you're competing against. So this is a no-tail keyword. Even though it sounds cool, it might be brandable, and you have this great idea for a business name, I would not brand your website over that because it's going to affect who comes to your website. Okay, so Gazelle's Book Barn is a no-tail keyword. Let's go on. Book donations, okay? Short tail, long tail, or no tail. Book donations, believe it or not, is more of a short tail keyword. Okay, it's only 2 words. Normally short tails can be 1, 2, 3, 4 words. It really doesn't matter the words so much so as how much traffic is going to it and how hard it is to rank for that particular keyword. So book donations, let's take a look at what the results are telling us for this. Okay, 15,400 people searching for this. So if you came up #1 for this, that would be pretty good. It would be difficult to rank for, so even though this is out of 100 and it's 41, that's actually still pretty difficult. You want to, for new websites, have something below like 20 on this rating. 41 is going to be difficult to work with because you're competing against moneycrashers.com that out of 100, they're ranked 73 on domain authority. All these websites right here, Epic Reads, these are huge websites that have been around for a long time that are targeting book donations because of how much traffic is going there every single month. And it's going to be hard to rank for book donations. In addition, it's actually not even the best keyword to rank for if you want book donations, because let's say you're in LA, you make a website, you work really hard for 3 years, you finally get #1 for book donations when someone searches for it, but now you've got people from Florida calling you and you have no way to pick up 100 books from a random person in Florida if you're in LA. So book donations is very broad, and we're not exactly sure what people are searching for when they search this. They might want to donate books, they might want books donated to them, etc. There's a lot of things people could be doing with this keyword. So hard to rank for, short tail keyword, we're not going to be doing that. Now, short tail, long tail, or no tail, Denver book donations. All right, so Denver book donations is a long tail keyword, right? So we still have book donations in there, but we've added Denver, okay? This makes the keyword longer, a lot less people are searching for it, and it means there's gonna be a lot less competition for this keyword. If we look at the stats for this, we can see right away it's easy to rank for, number 7, okay? So this is very easy to rank for because very few websites are specifically targeting book donations in Denver, right? So we have 190 searches. Now this might not seem like much, right? But let's say you're number 1 or 2 on this list of websites and you get half of this traffic. You should be getting more if you're number 1 or 2, but let's say you get half this traffic. So you have, what is that, 90-ish people coming to your website that are specifically wanting to donate books in Denver. If you live in Denver, would you like 90 people approaching you every single month asking you if they could donate books, right? So even though it's 190, it's very targeted traffic and they're doing a very specific search because they want to donate books in Denver. If you're in Denver, this is the ideal keyword for you to target because it's easy to rank for. Even if you only get half the traffic, you have 90 leads coming in every single month. And the only things we have to compete with here is Book Barn. It's Book Barn. I thought it was Book Barn for a second. Book Bar Denver. It looks like actual bar or something like that. Bookdriver.net. 5050books.org, Denver Library. So Denver Library is the most reputable website on this list right here at the top. But the Denver Library is going to talk about all the different activities they have, the books they have for people to read. Very few things on the website are specifically talking about book donations in Denver. If I make an entire website based around book donations in Denver with 30 pages, very detailed, written out and everything, Google's going to say, hey, Denver Library is reputable, but this website's specifically talking about book donations in Denver. This is probably more relevant to the user and it's going to serve me up above Denver Library, even though they're more reputable. So this is a good short tail keyword, sorry, long tail keyword that you'd want to target for a new website. But the real question is, does it actually work? I'm going to show you a few examples of how I've put this into practice in different websites to show you I'm not just making this up. I do know what I'm talking about right here. I've done it many times before. So let's look at Avery Romer's website, Restricted Inventory. Okay, so Avery sells people's restricted inventory. He has a restricted inventory business. And so when someone types in restricted inventory, I helped him build his website. What comes up very first right here? Okay, restrictedinventory.com. All right, we have 160 people searching for this. If he's ranked number 1, he's probably going to get most of those people searching for this coming to his website because he's the very first organic search result. So he's got 160 targeted people looking for restricted inventory, most likely how to sell their restricted inventory, and he's number 1 on the list. You can see it's 21. It's not as easy as Denver book donations, but we are still able to get him to number 1 on this list because of how we developed this website. You can see here in the search results, number 1 is him, and look at number 2. Number 2 is actually Amazon.com, right? Restricted inventory, someone asked a question in a forum on Amazon.com. What Google is doing though is Google is saying, hey, Amazon.com, a very reputable website, talks about restricted inventory, but they mention it once or twice in a forum, whereas this entire website Avery built is all about restricted inventory. This is probably more relevant to the user, even though Amazon's a bigger, more reputable website. We're going to put Avery's website above it because we like the way it's laid out. We can tell what it's about, and we can see right here, restricted inventory will sell it for you. It has a clear call to action. Sell your restricted inventory on Amazon for a 50-50 split in profit. It gets the point across. People know what they're clicking on when they click it. Google can read it, and so they put it up above everyone else. That is how these principles play into making a website and actually getting you ranked for the keyword you want to rank for. All right, so let's go into now actually building the website. We understand a little bit of the basics of SEO. We could do SEO for months on end because it's so detailed, but those are the basics. Let's now go to part number 2 of actually building a website. All right, if you're new to this, I kind of recommend a tool like Wix. I don't use Wix for my personal websites because I use something called Webflow. Webflow allows me to do a lot more, but it's also more complex and a much bigger learning curve. So if you want a big learning curve, you can go for a tool like Webflow, or if you want easy drag and drop, which is probably more beneficial for your time. So you spend little time on the website and more time going out sourcing for books. A tool like Wix.com is a very good resource for you to get a template, drag a few things around, and then change the website the way you want to change it to. All right, now let's get into that page structure thing I was telling you about. One of the key things Amazon looks at, all right? So I'm going to have top level pages. These are the pages in the main search bar on my sitemap. I make up and tell Google, hey, these are the main pages on my website. So we're going to have home, how it works, donate now, and then contact us, all right? Now I'll show you why I laid it out exactly this way, but then I have other pages under here. So under donate now, I have something like free book pickups. You can have a page about places you can drop books, drop bins, bins where you can donate books. You can have a page on liquidation sales or something like that. You can have a page on bulk books. You can have different pages, but I'm telling Google these are the main pages. These are going to be sub pages underneath another page, right? The reason I do that is that so when I show up in book donations and someone searches Denver book donations, my website actually shows up like this in Google. Google sees that my website is so structured that they actually put it up something like this where it says Denver book donations, and they put these extra links underneath it. I'm sure you've seen this when you've made a search on Google before. So now someone types in Denver book donations, they see my website says it right here. They also see they can click on how it works, donate now, schedule a pickup, or contact us, right? They have these 4 options. And what this does is actually quite a few things. First of all, it makes you take up a much bigger spot on the page. So if I'm ranking number 1 for Denver book donations, I'm going to be taking up a huge spot at the top of the page. Normally you have a few websites in a row, right? But I'm going to be here, and then I'm going to have another line of my first line of content right here, and another line of this line of content right here. And the second website on the page is actually going to be about 4 spots lower because I'm taking up so much of the first part of Google. Data has really shown us that about 79% of people are going to click on a website in the top 2. One of the top 2 organic results, they're going to click on one of those 2 websites. So if I can take up the first 3 slots, there's a high likelihood someone's going to click on my website over whoever shows up beneath me, such as the Denver Library, for instance. All right, this is something I've done with all of our businesses. You can see bookflipper.com website, the way I've set it up, we have it showing up here. ScoutIQ.co, we have it showing up like that. A company I used to workflow that I did their website for, we have it showing up like this. So this is something that I promise you will work if you format your pages correctly. If you give you give Google a sitemap they can actually read, they will give you a search result like this in time. You do not need to be a huge website to get a search result like this. You just need that structure properly laid out. And this is huge for getting more clicks on your website. It could take you from getting 10 clicks on your website to getting 90 clicks on your website because of this simple little tool of structuring your pages in a way like this, all right? So those are some real life examples of how I've done that in the past. So here's some tips for starting. I've talked to you a little about SEO. I've talked to you about a tool called Wix where you can build a website. Number 1 is for domain, use keywords, okay? Target specifically locally to where you are. It does not matter if it's a small town, that's even better because when the very few people search for it in that small town, Google's gonna put you up there because no one else is targeting your little tiny town, right? So for a domain, use keywords, target local traffic specifically in your city or county, etc. Don't use some fancy branded name that no one's going to be searching for. Use something like we talked about, Denver book donations, right? That is a good keyword for a book, for a website where you're trying to get free inventory, right? Website, create structure. Okay, write 500 plus words of content on the pages. You can make the pages look good, but they actually need to contain content. And the more content you can put, as long as it's well written, is better for you because Google has more to base off of what your website is about. If you write 2 lines on your website, hey, we take book donations, apply below, Google's going to only have that to base your website off of. If you go into detail about book donations, the different part of the city you can donate books in, what areas you serve, all these different things, Google has a lot more to go off of. And if someone says book drop-off near me and Google knows they're in Denver, now you have a lot of content and maybe Google takes out, hey, you can do drop-offs with this website as well. I'm going to serve this website up to this customer. So more content is better. Write more content as long as it's valuable and sticks with the theme of the website. And as far as growth, time equals progress. I want you to remember that. One of the biggest mistakes people make with websites is they start it, they don't see results the first 2 months, so they stop paying for their subscription, they let their domain die out, when in reality, one of the best things you can do, even if your website's not seeing results, is to leave it up. If you leave a website up for 5 years and it doesn't do anything, once you actually decide to do something with that website, it's going to be in a lot better position because Google's going to see again that you've been up for 5 years, you're more reputable, and so when you put good content on there, they're going to deliver you up further in the search results than if you let that website die and started a brand new website Google's not familiar with. So leave your website up, make it and leave it up. It's very cheap each month. Pay the whatever $9 a month it is, $5 a month, whatever it is, and leave the website up. Write more content and then link to it on social media. One of the best things you can do at the beginning is link to your website with all your different social media accounts. So Google says, hey, there's all these different websites now linking back to this website. It builds authority and helps you stand out in the search rankings, right? So those are the 3 tips I have for you if you want to get started. Build a website. There's very little things that can go wrong. You either build a website and you start getting free books, or you build a website, it doesn't get you free books, but now you have a website that makes you look professional. You can give out business cards to other people. And if you go and try and get backroom access at a thrift store, when you have a website where people can actually go to and see what you do, it makes you look a lot more official than if you're just some random person trying to get backroom access, right? So there's very few reasons you should not at least try and start a website for your book business. Now, I do have a limited time offer for you. So in this mastermind group that I did, I gave away this template I created for free. Okay, so this template has everything laid out like I'm talking about before, but it's laid out for you, and all you have to do is modify the text on the pages a little bit. So for a limited time, I'm going to be selling this template for $99 for the first 10 or 20 of you that come and want this template. I don't want this template flooding the internet and having everyone using the exact same template. But there's 50 states in the United States, and I don't even know how many cities there are, but there's pretty much an unlimited number of cities you can target. So even if other people are using the same template, as long as you guys are following my directions and targeting your specific city, it's not going to affect you. This is still a template that'll work well for you. So this template is for those of you that are not techie. You don't want to build out your own website and take the time. You want to save time and learn the ins and outs of Wix and stuff like that can take a little bit. So if you don't want to do that, you can have all this stuff pre-formatted for you, and you can just throw this website up and change some text. It'll speed up your results by having a website that's built properly, instead of you maybe making some mistakes that I've corrected in this template. You'll get a great looking site with custom graphics that I've had designed for it, and you'll probably get 10 times the results because I'll give you a private video in addition that'll show you some other strategies you can implement to actually get more book donations on your website. So if this is interesting to you and you want a template for 99 bucks, again, limited time, go to matthewosborne.co/Wix. Follow the directions there and you can get that template sent over to you, and you can start your book business website with that. All right, here's the final secret. You do not need this template to actually see results using this method. Simply follow the stuff that I've laid out in this video, get Wix or GoDaddy or whatever you want, and build a website based on those principles, and you can see results. The biggest thing you're gonna have to do is wait and have time, okay? You need 6 months, probably to a year, until you really start seeing results. The people that implemented this back in the mastermind started getting results and leads in about 4 to 5 to 6 months, depending on the person and depending on their area. So let it sit there, let it take time. If you want to shortcut the process and don't want to learn how to build the website yourself, simply buy the template, fill out the prompts on the template using the verbiage I put there so you know what type of text to put on the page, and then launch your new book business website. I'll see you guys in the next video.